She's obviously doing amazing. Her game speaks for itself. I think my favorite part is...
If it was up for debate before, at this very moment, it is clear that Caitlin Clark just had one of the greatest debut seasons in WNBA history. And now that a few opinions and critics have been put to rest, there appears to be a new one from WNBA legend Sue Bird. One that is more than just basketball. That's about the future of the game. Well, join me as I walk you through Sue Bird's thoughts about Caitlin Clark. Rookie of rookies. With the regular season finally ending, we can all agree that we witnessed a generational debut season from Indiana Fever's guard, Caitlin Clark. Obviously, she didn't end the season with both the Rookie of the Year award and the MVP award like Candace Parker did in 2008, but she made a statement. Candace, who won the 2008 Rookie of the Year award alongside the league's MVP award, averaged 18.5 points, 9.5 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and 1.3 blocks per game. Caitlin, on the other hand, averaged 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, 5.7 rebounds, and 1.3 steals. And to know how impressive Caitlin's first season was, you have to understand that Candace Parker joined a team that only missed the playoffs the previous year. She didn't have to face the second unanimous MVP in WNBA history in Aja Wilson. By a long mile, a strong argument can be made that Caitlin Clark is the best offensive rookie the WNBA has ever seen. She is the rookie of all rookies because, as a guard, the number she is putting up is extraordinary and unprecedented. Sue Bird, who is widely regarded as the best point guard in WNBA history, is one name many would have compared Caitlin to, but Bird only averaged 14.4 points and 6 assists per game in her debut season with the Storm in 2002, whereas Caitlin, in just her first year, has scored the most points by a point guard in a single season in WNBA history. Caitlin Clark, in just her first year, scored and assisted like no other WNBA point guard ever, and even if you compare her stats to the greatest offensive guard in WNBA history, Diana Taurasi, Caitlin still edges her out. Diana Taurasi is the all-time points leader, leading second place by 3,000 points, but she has never had an offensive season like Caitlin Clark just did. Despite being #1 picks, stars like Jewel Lloyd, Jackie Young, and Sabrina Ionescu took 3 or 4 seasons to reach all-star level production. Even prolific college scorers like Kelsey Plum and Kelsey Mitchell, who were the top 2 scorers in NCAA women's basketball history before Clark and Daisha Fair climbed the list in 2024, didn't burst onto the scene offensively in the WNBA as Caitlin has done so far. For what it's worth, Caitlin has proven to be nothing short of generational, and with her first regular season officially ending and the playoffs here, WNBA legend and arguably the best point guard in WNBA history, Sue Bird has now come out to voice out her concerns about Caitlin Clark, and it's a warning to the rest of the league. What could she possibly say? What kind of warning is she giving the rest of the league? Playoff nightmare. With the WNBA playoffs already here, the Indiana Fever's fast-paced play has caught the attention of Sue Bird. Since the Olympic break, the Indiana Fever have been firing on all cylinders, and according to Sue Bird, this should be worrying for the rest of the league. In her words, if she were still playing, she wouldn't want to meet the Indiana Fever in the playoff. Bird noted that from her experience in playing in the WNBA, the pace of play trumps physicality, size, and experience, and what she has seen from the Fevers is scary. The 13-time WNBA All-Star credited Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell for their success and chemistry in running the Fever's fast-paced offense, before boasting that the Indiana Fevers would be highly difficult for a higher-seeded team in the first round. The former WNBA point guard, however, singled out Caitlin Clark, stating confidently that she is a dangerous player to face at any moment in this playoff. Sue Bird played in the WNBA for 20 years, so she definitely knows what can make a player a threat to any opposing team. She is a 4-time WNBA champion and 13-time WNBA All-Star, so her opinions hold weight in the basketball community. During the interview, Sue Bird's opinions were asked about the former Iowa Hawkeye guard. She was asked what makes Caitlin more dangerous, whether it was her range or her fast-paced play. According to Sue Bird, Caitlin's range is a more lethal arsenal than her fast-paced play because, as a rookie, she has proven to be a threat at any point on the court, so almost every defense is confused with what to throw at her or how to defend her because she is a threat far away from the basket, as she is also a threat close to it. Bird praised Caitlin for having both skill sets because both have helped her talents in finding her teammates better. In situations where a double is sent her way, she can shoot or find a better teammate, and yet always make the right play either way because her constant movement puts pressure on any defense no matter how good it is. You know, trouble for everybody else, that's why I don't want to see her in the playoffs, Sue Bird said. According to Bird, we all shouldn't be surprised if teams start picking her up full court in the playoffs, because Caitlin Clark is that dangerous. However, exposing Caitlin to be a dangerous rookie isn't the only thought about the guard that Sue Bird has now made public. She has praised the rookie, had some advice for her, and even made her decision on who should be the Rookie of the Year. So, what does Sue Bird have to say about Caitlin Clark again? Biggest supporter. At a time when many WNBA legends and stars are undecided out of spite about the Rookie of the Year, Sue Bird has been a vocal supporter of Caitlin Clark. According to the 13-time All-Star, I personally, ever since the break, have felt that Caitlin was the Rookie of the Year. She has since just continued to prove that. While many are sitting on the fence, Sue Bird has been concise about who she is rooting for and the obvious winner of the Rookie of the Year award. Caitlin is obviously the best of this rookie class, and yet we've got a former WNBA head coach and ESPN analyst, Carolyn Peck, saying she is undeserving of the Rookie of the Year award.
It's really tight, but when you look at where the teams are, and I also went a little deeper and I looked at plus minus, and I also look at net rating. And when you look at that, Angel Reese has to get the nod.
And ESPN's Monica McNutt going on a rant about Caitlin Clark not deserving of the Rookie of the Year because her team wasn't in the playoffs and her impact has been insignificant. Well, she is in the playoffs now, and what other argument do they have to discredit her? Caitlin Clark has so far surpassed all expectations set for her, but even when she was going through her slump early in the season, Sue Bird was one of her biggest supporters. Earlier in the season, when Caitlin's turnovers per game were terrible and critics were piling on her, Sue Bird had her back, letting her know it always takes time and she would adjust in no time. She doubled down on her support when she called her three-point an antidote to dunking. I always said this, we finally got the antidote to dunking, Sue Bird said. Sue explained that Caitlin's talent to make the basket from any point on the court has changed the negative stereotype about women's basketball not being entertaining. She applauded Caitlin for bringing such a large audience and attention to the league. She has never failed to credit Caitlin for the big attention she has brought to the WNBA since the guard got drafted. For the remainder of time, Caitlin will go down as, whatever you want to call it, the one who made the change, this pivotal person. She will 100%, said Sue Bird. And Sue is right. No one in the history of the WNBA has had this much effect on the league as Caitlin Clark. A ticket to her first playoff game is costing more than the 2023 WNBA Finals ticket. The Indiana Fever's arena has a higher attendance than the Indiana Pacers game, and the average number of viewers of the WNBA is just a couple thousand less than the NBA. It's all the Caitlin effect. And Sue Bird is right in giving the praises to who deserves it when everyone else is trying their hardest to discredit her effect. Well, credit aside, should the Connecticut Suns be afraid of the rookie in the first rounds of the playoffs, just like Sue Bird said? Should the Connecticut Suns be afraid? The Indiana Fevers will be facing the 3RD seed Connecticut Suns in their first playoff game in 8 years. Caitlin and the rest of the Fevers team will have to face one of the league's best defenses. This team held Caitlin to 16.5 points, 2.0 rebounds, and 3.8 assists per game with a 30.4% turnover rate in their head-to-head meetings in the regular season. But the biggest question would be, if Caitlin in her first playoffs can't get going, can she get her teammate going? How will the Fever's fast-paced play and Caitlin's range be dangerous for the Connecticut Suns? Well, I guess we will all have to find out. In any case, basketball fans online have been buzzing about Caitlin and the Indiana Fever's playoff game, with a user commenting, Fever needs major adjustments in Game 2 defense and better offense execution. But the problem is, can they? Fever coach is not well known for adjustment. Another user commented, "Getting doubled and poked in the eyes can only happen to a talent they fear." If you enjoyed this video, the next video on your screen is worth your time.